Check it out. Look, we from the bottom, ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay. We from.
What's going on, gamblers around the world? It's your boy, the coach, representing Brothas N Bets, and we're here for another Tuesday show. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Marley Betts. Marley, how you Tuesday treating you right now?
Man, I'm feeling good, bro. We hit them Astros earlier today.
Yep.
I hit the Astros. Shit, I hit the Astros team total over. I hit the Astros over. So feeling good. UL, Louisiana, our Tuesday pick, looking good right now. 27-13. So shit, it's been a good night so far.
Yep. I took them Astros run line, came up big, dropped it all on these UL money lines. So hopefully, if everything goes right, this will be shit. I'll be cashing out $1,700 tonight.
Good shit.
So I am definitely in a good mood and ready to get the show popping. So, and we don't have our boy Flat Top here today, so we going old school with it. School.
He sent me his plays though, by the way.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I do have 5 plays that he sent me that I wrote down for him. So.
Well, cool. Well, those of you who don't know, man, this is kind of how we did last week. If you weren't tuned into the show yesterday, so we're gonna start splitting up because we are starting to have Tuesday action going on. But we will, continue to do our Tuesday night shows. But we will start doing Monday night brief shows just to cover all the games that are going on today. So let's go ahead and get it started. But just a quick review from last week. I went 5 or 6. You went 11 and 4, and Flat Top went 6 and 2.
Yo, United Dave say his comment's still not working. He just sent me a message on Twitter.
Okay, is he blocked or something? Tell him he need to start go to the YouTube. Switch it up.
I think he can hear you. He should be able to hear you if he's talking to me now.
Yeah, United Dave, join us on YouTube, man. Join us on YouTube. But for our viewers that are watching right now, just a quick recap of our plays that we chose yesterday. I took UL Lafayette money line, Georgia Southern money line, Clemson, South Carolina under 45, San Diego State -8, and Oregon -13.5. Marley, he likes UNL +5, Georgia Southern money line, Clemson and Syracuse under 45, San Diego State -8, and Oregon -13.5. We pretty much have identical plays, except I took the money line tonight.
I'm wishing I took that money line. That motherfucker looking good, even though I did sprinkle a little something.
Now, hopefully, they just need to finish because they were starting to get a little complacent and conservative. But
yeah,
we're still looking good. Flat Top, he likes the under right now in this game, which is kind of looking good, huh? Yeah, he's looking good.
I think the under was like what 50.
It's 56, so they're right at 40 right now. So he's looking pretty good unless
stuff
go off. But he likes South Alabama tomorrow money line. He likes the under in the Clemson Syracuse game as well with us. San Diego State -8 and Oregon -13.5. So that's how we looking. We got the boy Otis. You see the spread, man. We gonna get to that. We gonna get to it.
Yeah, I seen that shit.
We gonna get to it. It's crazy, but we gonna get to that, Big Boola. But let's just jump right into it, my guy. With the college analysis, we're jumping off Saturday morning with Michigan State taking on Indiana. Number 10, Michigan State. They opened up as a favorite, -3. Right now, that line's at -5. The total opened up at 52.5. Right now, that line's all the way at 48.5. Some places got a 49. So depending on where you're looking, you can kind of get an idea. Michigan State, number 10 team in the country. Hey, Big Ten got a lot of teams in the
They do.
They looking like SEC.
Looking like the conference right now, huh?
Yeah, they are. But Michigan State 6-0, 4-1-1 against the spread, and we've been making a lot of money with these guys this year.
Yes, we have.
Indiana, they're 2-3 on the year and 1-4 against the spread. See if we got any injury reports real quick that we need to comment on. And there is a slew of injuries. A lot of guys that are questionable for Michigan State. Breesley, defensive line. Camper, defensive end. Running back Collins, he's actually been having issues all year, but he's questionable. But we already know Kenneth Walker is that guy
Right.
for them. They are the tight end Gissiner, he is questionable. Burnhost, defensive end, is questionable. Wide receivers Stewart and White are questionable as well. There's a lot of guys with undisclosed issues going on. Crump, defensive back, he is questionable. Linebacker Brown is questionable, and Castile. So they got quite a few injuries, but good thing about them guys, they do have a lot of transfers in depth, and they look pretty good. And we got another flag on Louisiana that's probably going to be holding. These refs, the only reason App State has been in this game is because of the referees. So, anywho, Indiana, right now they did lose their receiver Matthews for the year. Buckley, he's questionable at the wide receiver position this weekend. Head Jr. is questionable as well for undisclosed issues. Oh, Phoenix Jr., he is out for the game this week.
Wow, I didn't know that. The quarterback?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He is out. And Turtle, he has been named the starter for this week.
Oh, wow.
Williams is questionable, defensive back with concussion. He is for this week as well. Let's talk about the last games. Michigan State went on the road and took care of business with a very low spread, which was easy money for Saturday morning, 31-13 against Rutgers, while Indiana's coming off a 24-0 loss against Penn State 2 weeks ago. Let's get to these actual factuals real quick. Michigan State 4-1-1 this season against the spread. The overs hit 6 out of the last 9. They're 6-0 straight up in the last 6 games. They're 12-5 against the spread in the last 17 games against Indiana. 10-2 straight up in the last 12 games against Indiana. 5-2 against the spread in the last 7 games on the road. And the overs hits 5 out of the last 6 when playing on the road against Indiana. Indiana, actual factuals, they're 1-5 against the spread in the last 6 games, 2-4 straight up in the last 6 games. 1-5 against the spread in the last 6 games. They overs hit 10 out of the last 13 against Michigan State. They're 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games at home. 1-4 in the last 5 games this season against the spread. And the total's gone under 5 out of the last 6 games when playing against an opponent in the Big Ten. Marley, how do you feel about this game?
I mean, like you said, man, the Big Ten, and I'm normally not a fan. I know that's your conference, defense, run the ball, play action, pass, and more defense. Like you said, man, we made a lot of money off Michigan, at least 3 or 4 games this season. And I'm gonna continue to ride that train, Coach. Especially, and I had this before. I didn't know Penix was out, even though I went over the game. I kind of didn't break it down a lot because I already knew what I wanted. I've seen both of these teams play. And like you said, Michigan State just haven't let us down all season. Offensively or defensively, they only giving up 19 points a game, averaging 36 a game. The closest game we had this season was actually the Nebraska game that we took, and they still won for us. Other than that, every game has been I don't want to say a blowout, but practically a blowout. 31-13 at Rutgers, 48-31 at Western Kentucky. They kind of got away late. That game was close early. Nebraska, the overtime game, and then they blew out Miami 38-17. No Penix Jr., man. I don't think they got a chance. Even though he's been turning the ball over like shit lately. But defensively, they just giving up 20 points a game. Indiana's giving up 28 points a game and only scoring 23 points a game. Never take teams with point differentials in the negative. Kind of weary of an upset, though. Honestly, I don't know why I kind of got that upset feeling, but now that you said Penix Jr. is out, that's completely gone. But I like Michigan State minus 4.5 to make it short and sweet.
Okay. I'm right there with you. I'm going to continue to ride this Michigan State gravy train. Hopefully this isn't a letdown game on the road for them guys. I mean, they're going to win, but we just need them to cover. But
right,
best believe if Penix is out for this week, looking out, I'm about to get a touchdown for Louisiana. If Penix Jr. is out this week, guarantee this line is going to go up to about 7.5 come Saturday.
Yeah, definitely.
7.5 come Saturday. I'm surprised it's still on the board right now. So
yeah, if that hold out at a 7 tomorrow, I'll be surprised.
I would definitely jump on it right now, people, if you like Michigan State with this. But I'm on that too. I like Michigan State. So let's get on to our next game. This is going to be a good one. Yeah,
it is.
We got Auburn traveling to Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks. Excuse me. This line opened up in favor of Arkansas. If I can find it. -3 right now. That line's at -3.5. The total opened up at 50.5. Right now it's at 53 as a consensus, but it is jumping all over the place. Auburn Tigers 4-2 on the year, 3-3 against the spread for the season, while the Razorbacks are 4-2 this year and 5-1 against the spread, coming off back-to-back losses on the Razorbacks. They lost to Georgia. They got stomped by Georgia 37-0, and they lost a very close shootout game, 52-51 against Ole Miss, while Auburn's coming off a 34-10 loss to Georgia. But the week before, they went into Death Valley and upset LSU 24-19. Touchdown, Louisiana. That's game time. That's game time. So we starting off 1-0 for the week, ladies and gentlemen, with the spread, with Marley taking the spread with the points, and I'm taking the outright money line. I don't know what Vegas was thinking for this one. Anywho, let's get to these Auburn Tigers' actual factuals. They're 4-2 straight up in the last 6 games this year, 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games against Arkansas, 5-0 straight up in the last 5 games against Arkansas. The unders hit 8 out of the last 8 games when Auburn's on the road, and they're 6-3 against the spread in the last 9 games when playing on the road against Arkansas. Razorbacks' actual factuals, they're 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games. The overs hit 4 out of the last 6. They are 4-2 in the last 6 games as well. They're 7-2 against the spread in the last 9 games when playing at home. 3-6 against the spread when playing in the last 9 games at home against Auburn. 1-6 straight up in the last 7 games when playing against an SEC opponent. Auburn, Arkansas, Marley, how you feel about this one?
Man, Arkansas' schedule has been brutal, bro. They last 3 games. Number 7 Texas A&M, number 2 Georgia, number 17 Mississippi. Then you got.
Let's go back 2 more weeks before that little game. They had to play Texas.
They had to play Texas, number 15 Texas. Now you got Auburn coming in. Just another weekend in the SEC.
Right.
My problem with Auburn is, and this our boy Gambling Graylow, Bo fucking Nix. Like, I just don't trust him. And he actually has played pretty good this season, honestly, especially compared to season past. He's only thrown 1 interception, 6 touchdowns. QBR is 59.7. Not too bad, but still not where I would like it as far as a better is concerned. I like Arkansas here. My only concern is, are they beat up? Like, is Arkansas beat up? They just had a brutal stretch. But you get to go back home, get some home cooking, get your girl rub up on you a little bit, get a little frat partying going on, stadium rocking today. Coming off 2 back-to-back losses, I think this is where they muster up and get a win. I don't think they're going to lose 3 straight. This Auburn team can't really score to me. I know that they average 35 points a game, but those points came against 62 against Alcorn State and 34 against Georgia State. So those are your 2 is what got their averages so high. They scored 10 against Georgia, 24 against LSU, and 20 against Penn State, which is where I think they'll wind up mid to lower 20s. I think Arkansas can give me upper 20s, closer to their average. I don't think they get to the 30s. I'm thinking 27, 21, maybe even 24, 21 last minute field goal. I like Arkansas. I'm going to take the money line because I'm scared of the 3 points.
All right. Hey man, besides in the 2 losses that Auburn has is against Penn State on the road, Georgia on the road. Other than that, the defense hasn't been playing that bad. Arkansas can't stop a cold. And when you're coming off a game like what you just experienced, a shootout game like that, like the question is, how much gas do you have? I hear you, they just came back home, but how much gas do they really have?
Yeah, I said they could be beat up. That's part of my worry.
And there were a couple of players, especially on the defensive side, that were dropping like flies during that game. So the question is, how much gas do they still have in the tank? Coming off that game.
My question to you is this, then, because I agree with what you're saying, but is their defense that bad because of who they just played lately? Because after they beat Texas and A&M, we were talking about how good their defense actually looked and how they held Texas to 21. But then you get Georgia and Ole Miss coming into town. You know, Georgia just beat up on you, and Ole Miss got a hell of an offense. They can score with anybody. So is it their defense is that bad, or is it the schedule they played?
Well, let's think about it. Texas A&M, when they played Texas A&M, they were playing a Texas A&M team that was that quarterback's first start.
Start.
And
right.
They had issues scoring. You know what I'm saying? And it hasn't just been, that game, but all the games. And they came out and played like they were going against the Super Bowl champs last week against Alabama. As far as holding down the Texas team, well, you're talking about a pretty much a true freshman on the road for the first game. They did look impressive in a couple of these games, but man, that there is a lot of film that you can watch in that Ole Miss game, as far as their defense, what was exposed, and offense. They threw everything at Ole Miss So
let me ask you this: I agree with you what you're saying. Ole Miss got Corral at quarterback, and that's definitely true. It's based on KJ Jefferson, how he plays. Definitely true. I agree with that. What was I saying? Ole Miss's offense. They got Lane Kiffin, Corral, that offense and that design. Do you think Bo Nix can duplicate that, though? You can watch all the film you want, but can Bo Nix make those throws?
I think so. I mean, he's been around for he makes some boneheaded mistakes, but
some bonehead mistakes.
He knows how to play on the road. Tough environment.
He didn't play bad in Auburn.
He didn't play that bad in Penn State.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I said Auburn, but I meant Penn State. He didn't play that bad at Penn State.
He played pretty good against LSU on the road. So I don't know. I'm really backing this that Auburn has enough athleticism and the defensive side of the ball than
for sure.
Arkansas. I think if we come down to it, who can get more stops? Arkansas's defense. Who can score more points? Of course, Arkansas.
I can agree with that.
But when we're going back to the film, when we're talking about the film, dude, Browse, he opened up everything just for them 51 points. So there's a lot of film that they can study and look at tape.
I can agree with that. I actually believe Auburn has more athletes and better athletes.
Yeah, because for the last decade they've been bringing in some good recruiting classes.
Right. If this game is in Auburn, I'll take Auburn.
Well, I'm gonna take Auburn right here for the money line. I like the way their defense is playing right now.
I get you. I don't think I'm not even disagreeing with you.
Like Otis is saying, Bo loves to play in big games. Auburn
he just doesn't play. I just don't trust him, Coach.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't trust him either, but I trust him against Arkansas.
I just think this is what I think. I believe your boy Otis is right. It's going to come down to KJ Jefferson and how he plays. I think if he plays well, they win. Right. Because I think he overcomes the talent difference. He makes it because they got speed. They can outrun the Auburn defense if he can throw them open and get them there. And the scheme can beat the defense. They're not going to they can't outpower. They don't have the power and the strength and the size over Auburn. So Auburn can bully them. If Auburn bully them, then they probably lose. But if they let that offense and it turn into a shootout, I think they lose because I don't think they can score.
Okay. Well, let's get on to the next game.
Yep.
Like I said, I like Auburn money line. Touchdown, Louisiana. Easy money, baby.
Touchdown, UL. I got it. Oh, I see that boy doing backflips. That got to be a penalty.
I'm cashing out $1,500, man.
You cannot do that. That nigga start doing backflips in the end zone. You cannot do that.
Let's go to our next game. We got Oklahoma taking on Texas. This line opened up in favor of Texas -5. Right now, that line's at -5.5. And the total's been pretty much consistent. It's at 59.5. Oklahoma State Cowboys, they're 5-0 on the year, 3-2 against the spread, while the Longhorns coming off that debacle in the Red River Shootout. They're 4-2 on the year, 4-2 against the spread. Let's see if there's any major injuries going on for both squads right now. I know Oklahoma State is plagued with injuries on all sides of the balls and players out for the season for undisclosed issues. The running back Brown, he's out indefinitely. He was a big timer Offensive lineman Seals, he's questionable. Fullback Carter, he's questionable. Braden Johnson, he's out for the year. Defensive end Martin, he's questionable. Sterling, one of the top stud defensive backs, he's out for the year. Running back Jackson, he's questionable. Wide receiver Anderson, he's questionable as well. One of the top defensive ends, Ford, he's out for the year as well. And Green is questionable with a hand injury. And let's see how Texas is looking at coming off that game. Thompson, the defensive back, he is questionable, but he played last week when he was questionable with the concussion. Whittington, he's out indefinitely. He went out last game with a collarbone injury. That's one of their top wide receivers. Lindbrock, he's still out. And Barron, he is questionable with the defensive back with a knee injury this year. Questionable for this game. Oklahoma State coming off a 24-14 victory against Baylor 2 weeks ago, while again Texas is coming off that debacle 48-55 against OU. Get to these actual factuals real quick. Oklahoma State, they're 5-2 against the spread in the last 7 games. The total has gone under 14 out of the last 20 games. They're 7-0 straight up in the last 7 games. They're 4-2 against the spread in the last 6 games against Texas. 4-2 straight up in the last 6 games against Texas. 4-2 against the spread and straight up in the last 6 games against Texas. The under set 5 out of the last 7. 5 out of the last 5 when Oklahoma State is on the road. OU 6-2 against the spread in the last 8 games. The over set 4 out of the last 5 games. They're 9-2 straight up in the last 12 games. 5-1 straight up in the last 6 games at home. The under set 7 out of the last 8 games when playing at home against Oklahoma State. They're 6-2 straight up in the last 8 games in the Big 12 Conference. Texas, can they bounce back? Oklahoma State undefeated. Can they keep that O in the losing bracket? Marley, what you feel about this one?
My bad. Flat top, Michigan State first half.
We can get to it later because
Okay, all right, we'll do it at the end then. All right. Can UT bounce back from the debacle that they had last week? I don't know. That was bad, coach.
Yeah, it messed up everything. It messed up my whole day, man.
It fucked me off too. I had to battle the rest of the day. But from a player's perspective, and for those of us that play even high school football, if you play no college ball, high school football, and if you've been on a bad team, do you ever think before the game starts that y'all are going to lose? Unless you're just playing. I'm not talking about if you're playing just a team that's, they beat everybody ass week in and week out. But, Coach, I say your senior year, we was on a pretty talented, team. Could have won or lost all of our games, regardless. Even the game we played, Hightower, that we won, we weren't supposed to win. They beat us all the time. Going into that game, did you think we were going to lose? You hear me, Coach? Oh, I thought we was going to win.
I said absolutely not.
Right. So I say that to say this, because people say that shit on a lot of talk shows. What's the team thinking and can they bounce back and blah, blah, blah. As a player, unless I can't really think of the bad teams I was on, but 99% of the time, until we were just getting our ass beat when kickoff started, I thought we can win. So my headspace is always going to be fine, at least before the game kicks off. Now, if they start jumping on our ass and we suck and I know we can't come back, maybe. I don't know. For the most part, I think I've always thought, like, we can still win this game. So I say that to say, yes, Texas can bounce back. Will they bounce back is a different story. I like Texas first half. I think they're going to come out inspired based off what happened. The offense never got stopped. They still put up 50 points on OU, regardless of what the defense did in the second half. So they're going to score. OU's giving up only 16 points a game, but they haven't played anybody. Baylor's a good team. Don't sleep on Baylor. They beat Baylor 24-14. They got started late, though. But before that, we got Kansas State, Boise. I know Boise just beat BYU. It's an upset. Shit happens. Almost like a rivalry game there. Then Tulsa and Morehouse State. I don't see the comp. So I think this will be a high-scoring game because Texas defense is fucking trash. But I like Texas first half to jump on them early, playing inspired ball back home based off the bullshit that happened. I think they'll be fired up. I know the offense is going to score. I'm not worried about that. So I like Texas first half. Should be about a field goal. So if it's a field goal or less, take the spread. If it's over 3, take the money line. And yes, that defense is trash.
They garbage.
That's why I won't take the full game minus the 5, but I'll take the first half.
I like Texas in this spot just because I have been following this Oklahoma State team. Dude, and this quarterback, Spencer Sanders, he don't play good on the road. And granted, he just be making a lot of mistakes, a lot of boneheaded mistakes. And you talking about going on the road and it plagued with injuries. Well, the injuries hasn't caught up to him yet because they haven't really played anybody. And when they played somebody, Baylor, they were at home and they were protected. So I like BJ Robinson going off of this game. Now, losing Whittington at the wide receiver position is big, but I like Texas to come out strong, come out quick, and I like Sarkisian to keep his foot on the gas this week to not have another debacle. Because if he has another debacle, he's going to lose that locker room, guaranteed. So, where we at right now? So you like Texas first half?
I like Texas first half.
Okay. All right. And I'm going to take Texas with the points minus 5.5. I like that first half play too. I might back you up and take that first half also.
I feel like they should come out fired up. Based off last week, Sark got to show something. He can't take another loss neither this year. Yeah. Not this early.
Hey man, be sure to like, subscribe, follow. If this is your first time tuning in, our platform is growing. We were at 2,000. We lost our YouTube page right when we were starting to get paid, and we are climbing back with original content. So keep supporting us, man. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We will be cutting up these videos moving forward, so you can kind of search a lot quicker. Marley, can you take the next game? I gotta dismiss these kids real quick from the gym.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Where we at? Where are we at? You're not going in no order, huh? Or are you? Oh, you taking them off. I got you. I see what you're doing. Bam. I see what you're doing. All right. On the next game for the docket, we got BYU. They're going on the road to take on the Baylor Bears. That line has opened up at Baylor -6. The total is at 50.5 right now. Damn, it seems like that's kind of high. Let's bust down some of these actual factuals. I'm loading up my page. I had to switch from my notes to actual factuals. All right. So look at the injury report for BYU. That's going to be important. Pili, the linebacker, he's out with a knee injury. He's been out for the season. Ellis, though, the DB, is out with a concussion. He's questionable for Saturday's game. For Ncaa, he's questionable. Questionable, undisclosed D lineman. LaChance, undisclosed O lineman, questionable. Romney, the quarterback, concussion, questionable. Wake, the tight end, questionable. Davis, the receiver, questionable. Epps, the receiver, questionable. Everybody's questionable. For Baylor, we got Bernard, the linebacker, to his ACL. He's out indefinite. I think he's been out. Barnes, the cornerback, is questionable. And Zeno, QB's out for the season. He left the team. That's old news. All right. The actual factuals, BYU. We got in the comments. I was surprised BYU lost last week at home. You got damn right, man. And we've been on by BYU all week, so we've been riding every game except, well, not every, and not except every game I have personally. That's the first thought I took with them. But actual facts for BYU, they're 16-2 straight up in their last 18 games. 4-1 ATS in their last 5 games on the road. 5-0 straight up, 5-0 ATS in their last 5 games against an opponent in the Big 12 Conference. 7-1 straight up in their last 8 games played in October, and 14-6 straight up in their last 20 games played in Week 7. The total has gone under in 5 of their last 6 games this season, and under in 8 of the last 9 games. Baylor Bears, they're 4-1 ATS in their last 5. 5-1 straight up in their last 6. 4-1 straight up in their last 5. 1-4 straight up in the last 5 in October. 4-1 ATS in their last 5 games played on a Saturday. 7-3 ATS in their last 10 games when playing as the favorite. The total's gone over in 4 of their last 5, over in 5 of the last 6 games at home, but over in 7 of the last 10 games played in Week 7. BYU going on the road to take on Baylor at -6. Coach, do you have a play on this game?
This is a tough one, man, because we've been riding with BYU. They definitely had a letdown game against Boise. I think the issue with BYU is all the injuries that they have on offense and defense, especially on the offensive line, is starting to catch up with them as they're playing stiffer competition. And this is no different, man. They're going against a stout defense. I didn't really start paying attention to Baylor until they played Oklahoma State a couple of weeks ago. But your boy Moneyline put me on them, and he's like the defense. And
that's funny because I put Moneyline on them.
and I was impressed, even at the fact that Baylor lost their best defensive player, the linebacker. They came out and they shut West Virginia down, and that was easy money for the morning. And you remember I was like, damn, why we didn't cap this game? But I went ahead and jumped on it, even though we didn't cap it. So I'm tough, man, because I like BYU, but I'm probably gonna stay away from this one, man. To be honest, it's too tough to call. Baylor still has a young quarterback back there, and Hall coming back off of the injury, the first black quarterback in BYU history. Of course, last week was going to be a rusty game for him, but now he's back. So I'm probably going to stay off of this one. How you feel?
So, like you said, man, I put money line on Baylor. I think this is the week before they played Oklahoma State, or the week they played Oklahoma. I think it was the week they played Oklahoma State, because we both took Baylor, and we end up losing that game. But they played a shitty first half, and then the second half they fought back, got it close, and couldn't quite get over the hump. I like this Baylor team. However, like you said, Coach, I've been watching this BYU team since week 1. 5-1. I watched them against Utah. I watched them against Arizona State. I didn't watch them against UCL, but I watched them against Utah State, and I watched Boise. Hall coming back against Boise, and I think was that the game it was raining? Or was that the Utah State game I'm getting confused with?
Not sure.
I'm not sure. But that was Hall's first game back. I think that's the game it was raining. I just can't be sure. Either way it goes, they lost that game. I think this is too many points for this Baylor team. I know they're injured. They still got Algier. They still got is Powell still there, or did Powell get hurt? The receiver for Baylor. He wasn't on the injury report.
Nah, but they got quite a few injuries, man.
But I just think Algier gonna run the ball. He's gonna do enough to keep it close. I think it's too many points for this team, and I think they're too physical for Baylor, even with the injury report. I just think 6 is too many points, especially with a team that has a chance to win outright. I like this Baylor team. I don't like them that much. I think that defense has yet to be tested, and the time it did get tested, Oklahoma State and Iowa State put up 24 and 31. 29 and 24. Excuse me. Other than that, they played a Texas Southern team, a Kansas team, and West Virginia, who was but I like BYU plus the points. Too many points for a good team. I don't know if they win. I don't think they can win by a touchdown. That's a lot to ask. BYU is a good team, injured or not. They're physical. They can run the ball. They'll be in the game.
Yeah, but damn, we talking about traveling 2 hours time zone. You know, what's this, a 3:30
Yeah, it's
game?
a 2:30 game. They'll be all right. It's not an early game.
Coming down here in this Texas weather, though, it's not going to be. Well, I think the heat's supposed to pick up this week, but you talking about hill country. I don't know, man, and that crowd jumping. Around this time, it is homecoming. Homecoming's starting to come around. I don't know if it's Baylor's homecoming, but I'm gonna stay off it. If I were to do anything, I'll sprinkle some on that money line Baylor, BYU, but I'm gonna stay off of this one. Let's get to our next game. We got Ole Miss taking on Tennessee Volunteers, who's been hot lately. This line opened up in favor of Ole Miss -4. Right now, that line's -3. The total is at 85.5. Right now, that line's at 82. Depending on where you looking as a consensus, so we might actually have to update that. But Ole Miss 4-1 on the year, 2-2-1 against the spread, coming off that. Man, Lane Kiffin was calling some stupid stuff last game, man, and the fact that they lost the spread by the last 10 seconds. You know, that face mask call was huge. For Arkansas. But anywho, Tennessee Volunteers, my boy Josh Heupel picking that starting to have that Tennessee offense look like how it was at UCF. 2 on the year, 3-3 against the spread. Injury reports right now for Ole Miss. Ely, running back concussion, he is questionable for this game, and Mingo and Brown have been out for the whole year, so they're pretty much healthy. Tennessee, they got quite a nice little list of injuries right now. Bumphris, defensive line, he's questionable. Harris, defensive line, he's questionable. Keaton, wide receiver, he's questionable. All three of those guys are undisclosed issues. Offensive lineman Mays, he's probable for the game this weekend with an ankle injury. Eason, the linebacker, he's questionable as well. And Evans, the running back, he left last game, so he's probable for this game this week. Get to these quick actual factuals. Mississippi, they are 5-1 straight up in last 6 games, 5-1 against the spread in last 6 games against Tennessee, but 2-5 straight up in last 7 games against Tennessee, 2-9 straight up in last 11 games on the road, 4-1 straight up in last 5 games this season, and 1-4 against the spread in last 5 games against an SEC opponent. Tennessee, the over's gone over 4 out of the last 5 games. They're 4-2 straight up in the last 6 games. The under's hit 7 out of the last 10 games when they're playing at home. The over's also hit 4 out of the last 6 games this season, but they're 3-8 straight up in the last 11 games when playing against the SEC conference opponent, and they are 6-13 straight up in the last 19 games in the month of October. Tennessee, Ole Miss, Marley, how do you feel about this one?
I don't know, Coach. I don't know. I want to take Tennessee on the upset, but those injuries is making me off of it. I think Ole Miss is the better team. Oh man, but I know Rocky Top at nighttime they got a winning record. You earn unlimited 4% cashback on value. They got a winning record. That place is going to be rocking. I don't know, boys. I know it's been a while since Tennessee's been good. I don't know if people remember. That used to be one of the loudest stadiums in college football for a long time. Back when they were good. Man, I really want to take Tennessee, man. They're good. They're better than I thought. But I think Ole Miss is the better team. Coach, I'm kind of lost on this one, man. I'm gonna go Tennessee with the points. I'm not real confident, to be honest with you. I think Ole Miss is the better team. Ole Miss money line. God, I just think this is an upset. I'm waffling on this one, Coach. I'm not gonna lie to you. God, I think this is an upset. I hate going back and forth like this. What you got for me, Coach? Give me your opinion. I'll give you an answer at the end.
Again, is Ole Miss going to be tired? Are they from a game that are they gas? You know, that's the biggest question. Tennessee, They're clicking. They're clicking on all cylinders. And they're at home. Not sure how Ole Miss plays at home, but these guys not how Ole Miss plays on the road because they haven't been on the road for too much, especially against anybody tough. I like Heifel, but the most explosive offense right now. They've been proving they can get out of jams. But that's Tennessee. That South Carolina team sucks.
They're awful. I mean, we bet on them week 1 and barely got out of that hole.
Man, they suck, man.
You know what, Coach? I want Ole Miss on the money line.
Yeah. I'm taking Ole Miss on the money line for this one. I think their offense is just a little bit more potent.
Potent. They're the better team.
Tennessee's trying to get their offense to be like that. So, we both gonna back up Tennessee for this one. I mean, not Tennessee. Ole Miss. What you want them with the points or the money line?
I'm going with the better quarterback. Corral has been fucking lighting it up, bro.
You going with the points or the money line?
I'm gonna go with the money line.
Yeah, I'm not playing around with that.
I'm not playing around, yeah. I mean, Corral done thrown for damn near 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 89.9 QBR. Like, I'm not betting against that.
If Lane Kiffin don't go for it on his own territory, man, we good. We should be good. So
I don't think he does that against this team. I don't think they'll be going back and forth like that the whole game, maybe initially.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take.
Appreciate that, Jennifer. What's that? How you say that? Luce. I don't want to butcher your last name. But appreciate that, Jen. And fair breakdown matchup. Personality. Appreciate that, man. I goddamn it, I damn sure appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, let's get on to our next game. We both like Ole Miss right here. Hey, be sure to hit a like, subscribe, follow, man. Help us build our page back up. We're trying to get back where we was before, the YouTube government saw some brothers hopping into an untapped market. And they was like, no, sir, we're not letting you. Here. Let's get to our next game. And here's your team, Marley. This is your team, Pitt.
Let's go.
Traveling to Blacksburg, Virginia, to take on the Virginia Tech Hokies. Let me get to my actual factuals real quick because I'm all over the place and I do apologize. But this is a 3:30 Eastern Standard Time kickoff game. The Panthers, they are 4-1 on the year, 4-1 against the spread, while the Hokies are 3-2 on the year, 2-3 against the spread. This line opened up at -1 in favor of, in favor of Pitt. Right now, that line's at -4.5. A lot of money's coming in. And the total opened up at 60.5. Right now, it's at 58. Some spots got it at 57.5. Let's see if there's any major injury reports right now. Davis, running back, he did leave last game. I forgot who they were going up against, Georgia Tech. But he's questionable for this week, as well as wide receiver Thompson. Virginia Tech, they got a couple of injuries. Belmar, he left the team. With a head injury. They got 2 quarterbacks, but is Burmeister? He was injured last game and is probable versus Pitt.
Burmeister is the starter, I think.
Okay, yeah, so he's questionable with a shoulder injury, so we definitely need to keep an eye out on that. They lost wide receiver Hodge. They lost the tight end Mitchell. And Clements, the offensive lineman, he is questionable as well. Let's get to these actual factuals. Pitt, they're 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games. They overtook 5 out of the last 5. They're 5-1 straight up in the last 6 games this season. 6-1 not this season, but overall in the last 6 games. They're 6-1 against the spread in the last 7 games against V Tech. 8-4 straight up in the last 12 games against V Tech, and they're over 6 out of the last 7 games on the road. V Tech, they're 3-7 against the spread in the last 10 games. The unders hit 6 out of the last 7. They're 4-2 straight up in the last 6 games. The unders hit 6 out of the last 7 games for V Tech when they are playing at the house. And the unders also gone under 4 out of the last 5 games when they're playing at the house against Pitt. But they're 2-4 against the spread in the last 6 games against a Coastal Division opponent, and 12-5 in the last 17 games in the month of October. So we got Pitt Panthers. Your boys taking on V Tech. How you feel, Marley?
All right, so I hate we missed the number at 1. Now I hate taking the worst of the line, especially that it's gotten over a field goal. The key is going to be Burmeister. If Burmeister plays, they might have a chance to cover. I'm taking Pitt. I'm taking the -4.5. If Burmeister doesn't play, I don't think they got a chance. As good as the Virginia Tech defense is, I look at their schedule and the offenses they've played. They haven't played anybody, with the exception of North Carolina. Week 1, I watched that game. They played excellent defense that game, but that was week 1. And since then, West Virginia put up 27. Indiana put up 32. Not Indiana, Notre Dame. Excuse me. Notre Dame put up 32, and then they played Middle Tennessee and Richmond in between those games. So I'm not a believer. And now I look at Pitt. Pitt hasn't really played anybody either. That Western Michigan loss, boy, sleeping on Western Michigan. We know Western Michigan is a good team. I think they underestimated them. And what's my boy named Purdy, the quarterback for West? That's not Purdy.
Ellenberg,
Ellsby, the quarterback for Western Michigan. He good. He nice. He nice. Go look at him. So, but they dominated at West Virginia. I took them on the road at Tennessee. Pitt, if he's not a senior, he's a junior quarterback. I don't mind taking him minus points on the road. He's been in big games. He's a senior, excuse me. He's been in big games before. This is what he does. He's thrown 1,700 yards, 19 touchdowns, 1 interception, and has the best QBR in college football right now at 90.2. So I'm taking Kenny Pickett. The offense is rolling. Defensively, they're playing pretty good, playing good enough. Like I said, neither one of these teams have really played anybody, but they're only giving up 22 points a game. What Virginia Tech is giving up 18, so they're right there. But Pitt scoring 52 points a game. And like I said, I watched this team go on the road and get wins. I've seen Kenny Pitt before. I like Pitt minus the 4 points here.
All right, yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm a believer in Pitt. They got a pretty good defense. They know how to make plays when it matters, and the offense is very potent. So, and Pickett's seems like he's been around for a long time.
Yeah, he has, bro. He seemed like he's like a 5th-year senior or something.
You feel me? A super 6-year super senior. So, I'm not gonna keep, kind of you hit everything on the nail. I'm gonna back up Pitt right here. This Virginia Tech offense, even if the quarterback Brewmeister was playing, they don't impress me. They're very basic in what they do. The defense is okay, but I like Pitt right here. I don't think Va Tech can keep up with the scoring. So that's my official play. Hey, be sure to like, subscribe, follow if you're tuning in. And support your boys. Now let's hit this rapid fire real quick, so we can get on out of here. First game for the rapid fire, we got Kentucky taking on the Georgia Bulldogs. This excuse me. Kentucky Wildcats are 6-0 on the year, 5-1 against the spread, while the Bulldogs are 6-0 on the year, 5-1 against the spread. The number 1 team now in the country. This line opened up in favor of UGA -26. Right now, that line's at -22.5. Earlier, it was at 23. But you guys can, depending on where you're at, you can get at a good line. Actual factuals, Kentucky, they're 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games. The overs hit 4 out of the last 6. They're 8-0 straight up in the last 8 games this season, 2-6 against the spread in the last 8 games against Georgia, and 0-10 in the last 10 games against Georgia. UGA, number 1 team, 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games, 10-0 straight up in the last 10 games. The unders hit 4 out of the last 6 games against Kentucky, 8-0 in the last 8 games at home, 5-0 straight up in the last 5 games when playing at home against Kentucky, 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games this season, and 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games against an SEC opponent. UGA, Kentucky. Marley, do you have a play for this one?
Hey, Coach, what'd you say about Pitt a while ago?
What about Pitt?
Yeah, what did you open up by saying? Do you remember what you said?
Nah, I don't. I don't, my guy. I don't.
I'm a believer. I'm a fucking believer. I'm a fucking believer, dog. Georgia is on another level, dog.
Draft picks all over the place, baby. Defense.
Bro, they got first rounders everywhere on the defense. I'm looking at the lines for the game. I mean, I'm looking at the scores of their last game, and I'm just saying, what if the line was at 23 against Auburn, right? If the line was minus 23 at Auburn, guess what? They cover. If the line was minus 23, what's up? Is that Dave?
That's Des Moines.
Oh, not Des Moines Dave. What's the goddamn deal?
Damn, Dave don't ever shout me. I
know, huh? Come on, Dave. You got to get it.
Don't ever shout out the coach. It's all good.
Look, if the line was minus 23 last week at Auburn, Georgia covers. If the line was minus 23 against Arkansas at home, Georgia covers. Vanderbilt, Georgia covers. SC, Georgia covers. There has not been a team to be within 23 points of this team yet. And you know why? You know the reason why? They can't fucking score. You can't score. Georgia averages 39 points a game. They give up 5.5. I'm taking Georgia minus 23, and I don't care what anybody says.
They got them goons. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it's at 22.5, but we're going to rock it with the 23 right now.
Whatever. 23, whatever, 22.
Yeah. I'm not going – it could be 28. But I'm on this. At first I was looking at it, but now Kentucky's going on the road. And this is the first game UGA is coming out number 1. Oh, man, Kirby Smart about to have a field day. And we're going to see how trill Kentucky.
And then it's fucked up for Kentucky because, like, they ranked 11, so you finna have hype. They just finna give Georgia motivation.
Right.
Because other than, like, them being ranked 11, they probably wouldn't come in like, fuck Kentucky. But now, since it's going to be hype around number 11 and number 1, Kentucky 6-0, do they got a chance? Blah, 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 blah. Georgia finna be like, okay, we'll turn it up then. Just give us a little bit of motivation. I feel you, Otis, SEC, any given Saturday, I got Kentucky covering. I mean, I'm not mad at you. It's 23 points. It's a lot of points, but
Big O going to be a believer.
Like I said, man, Georgia has covered 23 points in every game this season. So
we're going to turn Big O into a believer.
I feel you, dog. 34-10, 37-0, 62-0, 43-13. I mean, that might be the only one, 43-13.
Well, let's get on to the next one since we got our boy Demonis in here. He's an Iowa guy. He's always hitting us with some Iowa info. We got the Iowa Hawkeyes. I've been making a lot of money on these boys this year.
Yes.
Shit show.
Yes.
Hosting the Purdue Boilermakers 3-2 and 2-3 against the spread, while the Hawkeyes 6-0, number 2 team in the country, 5-1 against the spread. I know DeMorris Dave and all the Iowans, is that how you say it? The Iowans are having a good time right now with this latest ranking. Get to these actual factuals. Purdue, they're 2-8 against the spread in the last 10 games. They're under 5 out of the last 5 games. They're 3-6 straight up in the last 9 games. 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games against Iowa. 5-10 straight up in the last 15 games against Iowa. And they're under 15 out of the last 19 games when Purdue's playing on the road. Iowa, 7-1 against the spread in the last 8 games. They're under 5 out of the last 7. They're 10-0 straight up in the last 10 games. 7-0 straight up in the last 7 games at home. They're 0-5 against the spread in the last 5 games against Purdue at home. 6-0 straight up in the last 6 games this season. 5-0 against the spread in the last 5 games against a Big Ten opponent. Iowa Hawkeyes taking on the Boilermakers of Purdue. Marley, how do you feel about this one?
Hey, is Jack Plummer related to Jake Plummer? Is that his son?
Yes.
That's his son?
Yes.
I thought so. All right.
I think he's a transfer. I think he transferred from Arizona State. I don't know. I might be wrong. I might be thinking this might be another son that he has, but
he's playing pretty good football. I mean, he hasn't thrown for a lot of yards, but he doesn't turn the ball over. And it's 0 interceptions, 7 touchdowns, 62.9 QBR. Not nothing to frown upon. That's pretty decent, but they don't stand a chance. Unfortunately, I told boys about 2 or 3 weeks ago. This Iowa team is legit, and that defense is legit.
It's legit. Yes, sir.
I got we're in rapid fire. I'm not gonna make it long, man. I got Iowa State first half spread and Iowa State. I'm tripping. Iowa State tripping. Not the Cyclones, people, the Hawkeyes. Sorry. I got them first half and full game. I think this will be a shutout. They're at home too. They're definitely going to struggle to score Purdue, and I think Iowa will probably. They average 31 points a game. I see them getting up there, even though Purdue's defense is only giving up 15 points a game, but haven't played anybody. And the one time they played, Notre Dame gave up 27. So I think Iowa will get there. First half and full game.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I like Iowa for the first half. Come out, play defense. Should get a turnover in each quarter leading up to halftime. Go down there, run the ball, play action over the top, or play action bootleg, pass it to the tight end, running in the flats. I'm going to take Iowa right here. Hopefully this isn't a letdown game coming off that emotional win. And I agree with Otis. If Clifford doesn't get hurt, Penn State wins that game.
Oh, I had Penn State. I don't know if anybody remember. That's one of my losses. Quarterback doesn't get hurt. Yeah, Iowa loses that.
I like Iowa, but man, that tempo, and then they threw they had 2 turnovers in red zone going in to score. Like Iowa, and they showed something at Purdue, because I know the coach when he was at Western Kentucky for Purdue, he was no tempo, spread it out. But they showed some weakness, Penn State, and hopefully we get Penn State and Iowa in the Big Ten championship for a rematch, and hopefully Clifford is better. But they showed some weakness. You heard it.
Michigan State might have. Penn State gonna have to beat Michigan State.
Penn State gonna have to beat Michigan State and Michigan, and they still got Ohio State. It's about to go down this month and next month in Big Ten for sure.
Damn, I kind of forgot about Ohio State.
I like Iowa for the first half in this one as well. So let's get to our next game. We got Arizona State taking on Utah. Let me get to these. Get to my notes real quick for this one. But could this be a letdown game for Arizona State? We shall find out, because right now, I don't think they have any conference losses right now. The only loss they had was when they were on the road against
only losses to BYU, I think.
Yeah, and that was a national televised game. So is this a late night game? Yes, it is. 10 p.m. tonight. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Arizona State 5-1 on the year, 3-3 against the spread, while the Utah Utes are 3-2 on the year and 1-4 against the spread. Get to these actual factuals real quick. Arizona State, the unders hit 8 out of the last 12 games. They're 7-1 straight up in the last 8 games. They're 2-5 straight up against the spread in the last 7 games against Utah. 6-3 straight up in the last 9 games against Utah. 2-5 against the spread in the last 7 games against Utah. They're 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games on the road. 5-1 straight up in the last 6 games this season, and 5-0 against the spread in the last 5 games when playing against a Pac-12 opponent. Utah, they're 1-4 against the spread in the last 5 games. The overs hit 6 out of the last 8. They're 6-2 straight up in the last 8 games. 15-1 in the last 16 games when playing at home. 5-0 straight up in the last 5 games when playing against opponent in the Pac-12. And 8-0 against the spread in the last 8 games in the month of October. Utah Utes taking on Arizona State. Marley, how do you feel about this one?
I'm not a believer in the Utah Utes. They beat a bad USC team. They beat a Washington State team. And then they beat a Weber team. That's their 3 wins. USC, Washington State, and Weber. I'm on a boat. I'm on the bandwagon with Mr.
Okay?
Hello. We play to win the game.
All right, because you said
I like Herm in Arizona State, and not just Herm. Antonio Pierce got that defense playing lights out right now with 16 only giving up 16 points a game. Boys, I know Antonio Pierce from the Giants. He the D coordinator, I think, or he's definitely on the defensive staff. I think he's the D coordinator though. But I like them first half and full game. I think it's too much offense. Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say, Odie. Too much offense, too much running. And honestly, their boy Daniels, at least the last 2 games, he's been playing pretty good football. He's cut out the turnovers a little bit. His QBR is at 72.6, which is damn good for him. And he's thrown 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions overall, which is the thing he needs to cut down on. But he still passed well with 1,200 yards. So I like Daniels on the road. I think Herm keeps him moving. I think Herm got him believing that they might can win the good old Pac-12. The only people standing in their way is Oregon, if I'm not believing. After they take care of Utah. And they're 3-0 in conference right now. Like you said, they haven't had any conference losses. So I like Arizona State. I actually like them first half, and I like them full game. Money line both plays.
This line is at 1. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Jeez, this is going to
We
be.
might as well just take the -1. No point taking the money line.
It might as well. This right here is going to be an all-in at the end of the night.
Yeah.
I think
get that cash out. Take me home Pac-12 after dark.
Yes, sir. I think Arizona State is clicking at the right moment.
Yes.
They can score. They can play defense. They can run the ball. I'm not a believer in Charlie Brewer, quarterback for Utah, who transferred from Baylor. I don't like him in this system, and I think he's a fraud. Nothing against the kid personally, but I just not a believer in him in this system. I like Arizona State all day, every day in this game. So no more to talk, no more to discuss. Take Arizona State, folks, with your last amount of money for the night that we make. And let's get ready for some NFL the following day. Speaking of NFL, be sure to tune into the NFL show that takes place tomorrow night with Marley Bets and our boy LJ from Houston. So be sure to tune in for that. It's going down 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, maybe a little earlier. Click the alerts and you'll be tuned. You'll be locked in. Let's get to our next game. This is the bounce back game for Alabama. Alabama, they are now 5-1 against on the year, 3-3 against the spread, while the Mississippi State Bulldogs are 3-2 on the year and 2-3 against the spread. Excuse me. Let's get to these actual factuals. Alabama's 11-5 against the spread in the last 16 games, 19-1 straight up in the last 20 games, 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games against Mississippi State. 10-0 straight up in the last 10 games against Mississippi State, 13-2 straight up in the last 15 games on the road, and 6-0 straight up in the last 6 games when playing on the road against Mississippi State. You get the picture. The total has gone under 10 out of the last 15 games for Mississippi State. They're 5-2 straight up in the last 7 games. The unders hit 11 out of the last 14 games when playing against Bama. The unders also hit 11 out of 13 games when Mississippi State is playing at home. And the unders also hit 8 out of the last 11 games when they're playing against an SEC opponent. Bama versus Mississippi State. Marley, how do you feel about this one?
I have a lean for Bama first half to come out pissed off and take care of business. I'm gonna make it an actual play. I don't like. Normally, I don't even mess with Bama because they spreads always fucking huge, and it's crazy because I fucked with them last week
and got
and took the L.
I'm right there with you.
But I do like them to bounce back. Saban probably got in their ass, like your boy saying, in practice this week, I'm sure. But, Mike Leach do run that bullshit-ass system that can beat Saban, spread everybody out and throw the ball. Just, he don't got the athletes at Mississippi State right now that even come close to challenging Bama. At least we know A&M has some athletes. You got Jimbo Fisher. He know how to play Nick Saban. Can't say the same thing at Mississippi State. Probably can catch it about 10, 10.5. Hopefully you catch a 9. But I like Bama first half.
I'm right there with you. I like Bama first half. I think they're going to come out pissed. I'm going to think they're going to force a turnover in the first quarter and the second quarter to cover the first half spread. Play no games, get back on track. That game last week there was a whole lot of stuff going on.
Right.
Before the game, they delayed the entrance for Texas A&M before the game. Saban was kind of hot like that. They just took them all the way out of their comfort zone. So I like OU to come out pissed off. I'm not OU, excuse me. I like Bama to come out pissed off for this game and take care of business. So I'm on Bama first half. All right, let's get to our next game. We got NC State traveling to Boston to take on the Boston College Eagles. NC State 4-1 on the year, 3-2 against the spread, while the Eagles are 4-1 on the year, 4-1 against the spread. Get to these actual factuals. NC State 5-2 against the spread in the last 7 games this year. They're 8-2 straight up in the last 10 games this season. 5-1 against the spread in the last 7 games when playing against BC. The overs hit 7 out of the last 8 games when NC State is on the road, and they are 1-6-1 in the last 8 games when playing on the road against Boston College. Boston College, they're 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games this season, 4-1 against the spread and straight up this season. The unders hit 5 out of the last 6 games against NC State. They're 6-1 against the spread in the last 7 games at home. 6-1 against the spread in the last 8 games when playing at home against NC State as well. And the overs hit 5 out of the last 7 games when playing an ACC opponent, Atlantic opponent. Boston College, NC State. Marley, how do you feel about this one?
Believe it or not, Coach, I think I like the over here.
You think or you do? Which one's gonna be?
I'm looking at it. I don't know if both these defenses are fooling me because they haven't played anybody. Is the question. I think NC State is the better team, and I like NC State. But BC scares the shit out of me. They can run that pill, but the quarterback turns the ball over too much, and that's the problem. Grousel. I know this is our boy Moneyline's little sneaky little sneaky team he likes. But quarterback hasn't even Grousel. He hasn't even started for less than 1,000 yards. Starting for only 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. If they get behind,
they run the ball though.
They run the ball, right? That's what I'm saying. They can run the ball. I said that earlier. They can run the ball, but my problem is if they get behind, they can't come back because the quarterback can't throw the ball.
Well, they came back against Mizzou.
Against who?
Mizzou.
What do you think about them?
At the time, Mizzou was a pretty healthy team. They lost a lot of their players.
And that game was what? Last week? Week before last? 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Because I took Mizzou for that game, and your boy Moneyline took BC. So that was really my first time getting to see them. And then I also think about it last week. They could have beat Clemson, you know what I'm saying, on the road. You know, they had a couple, like you said, they had a couple turnovers in the red zone that kind of didn't favor them. But
yeah, NC State.
I don't have a play on this, but if I was to take a lean, I'd take Boston College with the money.
I'm taking NC State money line.
You like the NC
I'm going
State?
with the better quarterback who can throw the ball and they spreads this defense out and is going to put points up. If Boston College if they get behind, I don't think they can throw the ball and come back. If this game is tight late, they need a touchdown, 2-minute offense. They can't throw the ball. I trust Leary. Leary can throw. Leary can run. 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, over 1,200 yards. QBR is 73.8. I'm going to go with the better quarterback. I like BC because they run the ball and play defense. But then I look at the schedule, and it's like you say something about Mizzou, but I'm like, And then I see Temple. Okay, you're better than Temple. You're going to run out down their throat. Massachusetts, you're going to run down their throat. Colgate, you're going to run down their throat. So I look at the common opponent in Clemson. They could have won at Clemson. Well, North Carolina State beat Clemson.
So what's your play, man?
North Carolina State money line. I said.
All right. I'm gonna stay out this one. You need pay attention to the weather though. That's all I'll tell you. Because
I got you.
On this time it gets kind of a little cold up in there in Boston College, and you know
I got you. Right now it says 72 degrees.
What time is it out there? So it's 11:30. Just make sure you pay attention to the weather because them Dodgers, they ain't playing today. 5-1 Dodgers. Bottom of the 5th, 2 outs, man on second and third.
Yeah, I took the under now.
All right, let's get on to our final game of the day. We got UCLA Bruins taking on the Washington Huskies. UCLA, they're 4-2 on the year, 4-2 against the spread, while the Huskies are 2-3 on the year and 1-4 against the spread. Get to these actual factuals real quick. UCLA, they are 8-4 against the spread in the last 12 games this year. They're 4-2 straight up in the last 6 games. They're 12-5-1 against the spread in the last 18 games against Washington. 13-5 straight up in the last 18 games against Washington, and 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games when they're playing on the road. Washington, the Huskies, very, very let down. Hey, ever since Peterson left, man, this program has been going down.
Right.
Washington is 1-6 against the spread in the last 7 games. The unders hit 4 out of the last 5. They're 2-4 straight up in the last 6 games. The overs also hit 4 out of the last 5 games against UCLA. They're 16-4 straight up in the last 20 games at home, but a lot of that was Peterson. They're 1-4 against the spread in the last 5 games this season, and 1-5 against the spread in the last 6 games when playing against a Pac-12 opponent. Washington versus UCLA. Marley, do you have a play for this game?
UCLA money line.
UCLA money line. Yeah. And check out Washington's injury reports. They do have a lot of injuries going on. I like DTR. I like DTR. I like what's my boy name? Chip Kelly. To kind of take care of business. This Washington team is not that good, and they've been trending down since Peterson has left. So we both like UCLA money line, and that will end our rapid fire. Guys, be sure to like, subscribe, follow. Marley, do you have a $5 come up?
No. You know what? I haven't been doing them for college, but I can put one together for you. Yeah, I do.
Ooh, Marley, hold on real quick. Big Otis. Man, that game scares me. I had to UCF is playing with a backup. Cincinnati could cover 21, but that's just too much for me right now. I don't know. How you feel about that one?
I was scared of the points. That's why I left it alone.
Yeah.
Way too many points. Cincinnati just trying to win out. They trying to look impressive, I guess, to hold their little spot down.
That is true. That is true.
So the blowout is definitely on the table, but man, it's a lot of points, dog. Kind of scares me, honestly.
Yeah.
A lot of points.
It's all good. So
that's my opinion on that. Do got a $5 come up though. Just put one together. I'm gonna actually do this too. Iowa minus the 11, Arizona State money line or minus the 1, excuse me. UCLA money line and University of Texas first half.
Okay. All right, well, let's get to these plays. I already kind of went over all the weekday plays, so we'll start right at the Michigan State. Marley likes Michigan State minus 4.5. He likes Arkansas money line. Texas first half, BYU +6, Ole Miss money line, Pitt minus 4.5, UGA minus 23, Iowa first half and full game minus 11.5, Arizona State minus 1, NC State money line, and UCLA money line. As for myself, I like Michigan State minus 4.5, Auburn money line, Texas first half and full game spread. Ole Miss money line, Pitt minus 4.5. Pitt, my play of the day. Pitt is going to be the play of the day. UGA minus 23, Iowa first half, Arizona State minus 1, Bama first half, and UCLA money line. Let's see, you got in the boys' days. Good work tonight, coach. Double down on the Hawkeyes. Purdue can't score. I say Marley, they watch Temple. Their defense is better than I expected. Oh yeah, they are. They are. Hey, Otis. All they got to do is keep their eye on the goal, one game at a time, and shit, they in the playoffs. That's all they got to do. They are in the.
What are they ranked?
They top 5. They might be 5, if not 4, right now.
Ooh, I don't think they got nobody left on their schedule.
Let me double check because I think I might have seen them at 5 or 4.
I don't think they got anybody of significance left on their schedule. They might get jumped by a 1-loss SEC team, a 1-loss Big Ten team.
So right now we got UGA.
Oh, they at the 3rd spot, so they might get survive.
Yeah, so UGA.
They might get survive.
UGA number 1, Iowa number 2.
Because you got to think about it. Bama will jump them.
Cincinnati number 3, especially if they beat UGA in the finals. OU number 4.
And if they beat UGA in the finals, Georgia will jump them.
You got Bama at 5, Ohio State 6, Penn State 7, Michigan 8, Oregon 9, Michigan State 10. Then right outside of that, you got Kentucky, who's going to lose this weekend, and Oklahoma State, who's going to lose this weekend. And then you have number 13, Ole Miss, followed by Notre Dame at 14. And then our boys, number 15, the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina.
Chanticleers. Hey, look, it's only 2 playoff spots right now, unless Georgia or Alabama lose again, and not to each other.
The Big Ten, especially the Big Ten, what's that, West or East?
One of the Big Tens go get it. So it's really 1 spot because we know one of the teams in the Big Ten go get it.
It's going to get real interesting, man. Well, hey, that is our show tonight. I got to get out of here. I know Marley got to get out of here too. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will see y'all next weekend, same time for the college show. Marley, you want to get us out of here and hit them with the catchphrase?
Yes, sir. Man, y'all check me out tomorrow on the NFL show with my boy LJ from Houston and Mikey Hova, the Reaper. Other than that, man, shit, we hit them tonight, so we gonna hit them again tomorrow. Y'all know what it is. Let's beat Vegas. And we out this motherfucker.
Check it out. Look, we from the bottom, ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon'